Right, so we've still got another of Alan, our mystery benefactor's repairs to do, which is going to be a Midland 77805. But I wanted to slot this in, which is the first of the sets from that batch I bought from Lancashire. So this is a Domico Convoy. This is the most requested one to do first. Now this has come, and we're going to be putting this on eBay when it's done, and I won't be touching the case, but I'll see if we can get some of this paint off the front bezel. Other people can refinish. It's electronics, which other people can't always do. So we've got this with the fancy painting it with over the edge of the bezel. It's unbelievable. Anyway, now this batch of stuff, every set in there is a failed repair from a, shall we say, rig doctor in inverted commas, and they're either repair failures or they're extensively modified and uneconomic or blown up, or there's actually no innards in them. So we're going to start with Domico Convoy. This I've probably got a fighting chance with this because it's an unusual set. A lot of people may well not be able to sort out a fault on it. I may not be able to. You know, there is a possibility that out of that set batch of 20 that we get none working. There's always that possibility. But I think I've got a fighting chance, you know, with the years of experience and the fact we've got some parts kicking around and we've got some scrap sets kicking around. There are self-tappers in this, which is annoying. Not a self-tapper lover. Prefer the machine screws. Anyway, at least it's got fag smoke emanating from it. It's probably painted over the. There we go. So, I mean, that looks complete, and there's nothing messed with on that, so we do have a fighting chance. But they're quite an unusual set. And what's this down here? I can see a grommet with some shenanigans. Oh, it's a light bulb. Okay, yeah, somebody's replaced one of the light bulbs. You're supposed to have a red one for transmit, and then you've got the meter lamp. Okay. And if that works, that's fair enough. We'd probably change the power lead as well. It's a bit tatty, but the set's 40 years old, isn't it? Right, so with that, we'll get it connected up. It's an unknown, so we'll start it off at 9 volts. Have we got sound today? Yes, we've got sound today. So put the power supply on 9 volts. Actually, had snow on the ground here, which is really unusual. For around here, it was -2 and it's been +2 all day, so hopefully it will disappear. It doesn't make my job easy driving around from church to church. Now, I misplaced our customer's microphone for the, what was it came in? It was this microphone. So I just gave him a new mic, and so we'll apply this mic to this set. I seem to recall it's standard Cybernet wiring. Oh, it was the Harvard 402 MPA, that was right. I put it somewhere really sensible so it didn't get muddled up, and of course I then misplaced it, didn't I? Like you'd expect. Right, we're going to switch it on. We're at 9 volts, current limited to 300 milliamps. And we have power, and that bulb is absolutely fine. Let's step it up. We're at 230 milliamps, so that's within. We'll go to 13.8 volts, and it's current limited now at 2 amps, which is how we normally run, and that's absolutely fine the way that's done. Just quickly going to pop it into transmit, and then we've got the red light for transmit. So we'll put a PA speaker in. I can't see any naked looking capacitors, and I want the other one for the test instruments. That's it. Noisy volume control. Not sure whether they're going to be able to clean that or whether it's going to be replaced. So PA. Testing 1 2, testing 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1. Well, I can see we're going to have to go and get a. Yeah. Going to have to see what we can do with that. But it's been in a smoker's household at some time, and that may be what the problem is. You get 2 filters, do you? So let's have a look at what transmit is doing. Let's go over to our normal meter and switch picture in picture on. Which is that button there. I'll just make a note. Volume control 30. So going to transmit, and we have got 2.4 watts on channel 20. So change channel. Channel 40, 2.4 watts. Channel 1, 2.35 watts. It's pretty balanced. Go back to channel 20. Low power, 380 milliwatts. How accurate is that? Back to normal power, and the transmit current is 1.1 amps. Don't know whether our Marconi test set's playing up today, but we'll just see what the deviation is. Wallow. Well, according to this, wallow, it's gone beyond what we can read on that scale. So I'll put it on the 25 kilohertz scale and see what we've got. Wallow, it's there. So it's 5, 6, 7 kilohertz. We won't be doing the VCO, we don't need to, it's not out of lock and there's no shenanigans. Now here we go with the frequency. Now the test set's only been on 10 minutes, so it's still going to be stabilising at 27,79066. So it's starting to get noticeably off frequency, but not illegally off frequency. Let's just see whether we can bring that up immediately. I can always check it later if I can just find where the trimmer is. So this wireless isn't wireless, is it? But a nice quality trimmer, nicer than you usually get, nicer than we would put in. Oh, I'm not showing you the frequency counter. No difficulty at all in getting that to go on frequency. So left that at 27,79127 because it dropped with age. So it's got a bit of leeway, a bit of headroom there. So that's fine. We'll go through that in a moment. What does the meter read on transmit? it reads virtually where it should do. So it's supposed to be in the centre of the red zone, the strawberry patch. Well, so we're out with the sockets and the switches and the meter lamp. So we'll go on to receive. It's going to be a bit difficult with the volume control being in the state it is, but we'll give it to go. So set the frequency counter, set the signal generator. We were last doing CPT, so 2779. We actually charge £3 more for CPT sets because we have to retune everything. Got to have enough volume on to make the not kind of the volume I want, it's a bit too loud, but we'll get these readings quickly. Just select the right camera. So, for 12 dB, 0.55. For 10 dB, 0.46. And for 20 dB, if it does it, 1.75. Right, let's get that turned down before it blows my eardrums out. There's enough there for me to know where the squelch is. Right, squelch. The squelch to full. I'll put this now on the attenuator so you can see where we are. So it's 1, 3. Oh, good grief, that's dreadful, isn't it? Full squelch, 3 microvolts. In fact, it's not even that. Yes, it is. It's 3. A minimum squelch. Squelch is dirty too, but nothing like as badly. Right, here we go. It is 0.42. 100 microvolts. Should have S9 on the meter, and instead of S9, doesn't matter about the volume control for that, we have 2. No, we've got, that's 100 microvolts, and we've got 0.5. So to give us 100 microvolts on this meter, all I can put is greater than 100 millivolts. So the first thing really to do, it'd be nice to get this paint off, but I'll give it a go, but I'm not, we'll let the next owner do that, to be honest. But I will give it an initial go. See whether we can spray these or whether we're going to have to replace them. Right, I'll be back. Right, so having applied the service salt switch cleaner, this one, the only one we use, seems to be alright now. That was so bad I was wondering whether that would actually, whether it was actually worn or whether it was just dirty, but it's clearly come from a smoking household at one point. There's a cracking around that knob, but it's not broken. Right, PA, testing 1 2, testing 1 2, 1 2 1 2. So that is working. So we can unplug that, and we'll just go over to CB. Oh, now we can have a sensible volume which I can turn down. You know what, I think we're going to end up with taking that front panel off and running it through the dishwasher, if you can take it off. No, you can't take it off, can you? So I'm just talking out of my hat. You can't, because the front controls are actually mounted on it. So unlike most sets, it doesn't seem to... Well, I'll look further into it, but we'll get on with the set. I'm digressing. So, transmitter tune-up. Let's have a look at our notes. So straight away we need to just run through the transmitter, and on this radio it's this way round. Now it must be pretty near because it's pretty well centralised. Well, I've just made it worse. Is there a power control on these? There is, it's VR1. VR1. All we've got to do is find it. There's VR1 at the back. And the vertical, so not easy to get to. That could do with cleaning as well. I can see we better just apply switch cleaner to the presets. Just switch to low power. It's VR2 for low power. I know it wasn't far out, but this is going to have affected it dramatically, which it has. It's kind of between the two. There's VR2 is there. Or are there several VR2s? That definitely says VR2 on it. I think we're going to have to take the bottom lid off because VR2 is not having any effect. I wonder if it's failed and it's been linked out. I'm going to prise the lid away from the chassis because it's stuck with paint. look at VR2, and to be honest, it looks absolutely fine. It smells of paint and service oil. VR1, which is that one, yeah, I mean that looks fine as well. So why wouldn't the set change its power level? Let's put it back on. So with VR2, we're in the low power position. We're supposed to be able to set up, and it makes absolutely no difference. So with VR1, which is supposed to be high power, oh, we've got more than 4. We've got a bit more power now. What's VR3 do? Trouble is, if I replace that preset, all we can get these days are horizontal ones, unless it's loose. And it always looks a bit of a bodge if you put a vertical one on stalks. You know what, I'm going to have to look at the circuit diagram, because it just is not doing anything on the low power adjustment. Right, we'll come back to this. I'm going to get on with the tune-up rather than mess about with why it's not doing a power adjustable how I want it to be adjustable. So go through the transmitter. It's T1 first. All I've got to do is find out which is T1. We've got a doubler arrangement. We're not going to fiddle with the doubler, it's a wax-filled one. So T3, it's not like it isn't transmitting. I think T3 must be there. Yeah, T3, that's one we can do. So I know I've gone through this, but right, that really needed adjusting. In fact, we've now got 3.2 watts, just like that. Where are we? 3 T4 5 6. That's 5. That's going to be 4, isn't it? Let's go back to this power control. It's not having any effect. I'm going to have to change that and put one on stilts. It's not very professional. What else can you do? We're actually getting about 3.2 watts. Let's just look at receive, which was already quite good. It's T7, 8, 9, 10, and the IF is 11, and the detector is 12. So we'll have a look at the detector first. Let's put that on the oscilloscope. I'm going to have to come back to this tomorrow. I mean, we're now 7:30 in the evening. It's now too late for doing a scratchy corner test. And the snow on the ground. So what would we expect the detector to be? Well, I think we'd expect it to be that one there. That's T12. Yes, that's the detector. And that was already spot on. So I bet that's 11, the IF one. Yeah, you just can't tell. Let's go over to SINAD meter. Drop the signal a bit. Again, that was already absolutely spot on. So that leaves us with the front end T7, 8, 9 and 10. Two's the VCO. Seven and 8. That's 10. 7. 8. 9. Got them. So in that order. Let's drop the signal. That's brought it up a bit. 7. And there. That was spot on. I'm tempted to do this wax one with the transmit. Let's go back to transmit. It's just that coil that precedes this was a bit out. I don't like to when it's not being fiddled with, but it might have been fiddled with. That looks like it's correct. Just check it on 14.1. 41. So yeah, I'm happy that we've got the receiver as good as we can. Let's get a new SINAD reading. Hopefully it's fixed it better and not worse, although it was very good as it was. Not going to be able to do many now. I've got 27 church services over. Don't think I'm anything till Thursday, but trying to fit scratchy corner tests in from here till Boxing Day, from 10th till next Sunday till Boxing Day, will be quite tricky. So 12 dBs, we've got 0.33, so it has improved it. 10 dB, 0.28, and it's not quite there at 1 for 20. Not that it matters, it's only down to noise, it's 1.25. So that's good. I've got an I'll get this squelch right because that's ridiculous. So it's 5. So if we just find 5 is there, that should be squelched. Squelch to full. Let's see if we can squelch that out. No, we can't. Perhaps it has a wishy-washy squelch on these, I can't remember. That's maximum. And then maximum doesn't allow any signal to ever come. It's got quite a wide hysteresis, which doesn't help it. No, it isn't. It isn't a nice squelch. It's 7.5 microvolts. What have they got it at? They got it at 3. So we've got better than that. Let's see what the sensitivity is at the other end. Otherwise, you're just never going to open it, which is pointless. Set squelch. Oh, it's about 0.6. Chattering at that, but you get the drift. So not a good squelch arrangement. S meter. If you remember, that was ridiculous, wasn't it? And it's a bit better after a tune-up, but I haven't touched that yet. So we now should have. It's now reading just over 5 for an S9 signal of 100 microvolts. So we need to adjust the meter. And the preset for the meter is VR4. VR4 is that one. And that's actually at full, so it's still not how I'd like it. It's showing 100 microvolts at 150. RF meter, well, we just need to determine which one it is, but it's VR4. No, it's VR3, which is the one at the back. So just check that. And it's right in the middle of the red zone, which is the preset right at the back there. So we'll come back that tomorrow. What I will do, I'll just do the deviation, because we had this ridiculous level, didn't we, where it was Was it, what did I have? 7 kilohertz. Wow, yeah. So just go over to the other test set behind me, and then we won't need to put that on tomorrow when I come back to the trying to finish this off. But these do have their foibles, like the squelch, but you know, it's a very, very collectible set, isn't it? It breaks the mould, it's a different thing. Says he trying to sell it. Wow, yeah, it's far too high. So deviation, we've got mic gain and deviation as separate things. So what we'll just do is we'll go for deviation, which is VR10, which is that one. Wow, that's now the correct deviation. If I just listen on my monitor receiver, I think we're now right. Testing 1 2, testing 1 2, 1 2 1 2 1 2. I'm just going to play with the mic gain while we kind of monitor that, which is VR9, and while I've got it connected to the deviation meter behind me. So VR9 is where? It's going to be this one here against the edge. Yeah, it is. It looks to be in the right position, but we just want to listen to it. Testing 1 2, 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 testing 1 2. That sounds right. Now just check it again with the deviation meter. Wow, that's right. So we'll now bring that back. Turn that test set off, and we'll bring the lead back to the Marconi test set. We'll be doing that new Thunderpole one on Wednesday. Right, check. Wallow. This is about 2.8 on that. It's probably lying. So it's 2.2 to 2.5 kilohertz. That's brought that down to what we'd expect. So I need to be changing that preset and finding out why this one has no effect. So VR2, let's go back to low power. See, that has absolutely no effect. That's in high power, and that's in low power. It has absolutely no effect. And this one is jittery. So if I key up with this one, you can see the power meters all over the place, despite cleaning it. You know, it's obviously. I'm going to have to put one on stilts, which is not ideal, but it's all that can be done under the circumstances. But why isn't that one working? The two are actually linked. So that's going to take some looking into. It's probably take longer than the whole rest of the set. So there we are. I'll come back to this tomorrow. The next day, replaced the 2K preset VR2 and replaced the vertical preset by taking a horizontal one and soldering wires to it. I did look on eBay. I couldn't find anything. I don't like doing that, but it's one of those. What do you do if you can't get the part? You make one. So let's go into low power. Put picture in picture on and see now if we can actually set this thing up. So I want 400 milliwatts. These two are very interactive, if I remember rightly, on these sets. So that gives us 400 milliwatts. Let's go over to the other scale, switch to high power, and see whether we can set up high power. We can. Now we'll go for low power, which is now changed. Only changed a bit. 400 milliwatts. Back to high power. It's 3.2 watts. I think that's where we're going to be with this set. I've got to go through the tuning meticulously once again, but it just proves. I mean, when I took that vertical one out, just look at that. I didn't do any undue soldering, but it was knackered. But at least it wasn't a circuit problem. It was actually the presets which were both playing up. So what do? We'll just go through and see if we can get more than 3.2 watts. We'll go through the tune-up once again. So we'll start with that doubler. There's my notes on the back of the bank statement. On 3. Four. 5. 6. And all we can do now is check that the coils here are actually in the right kind of position. That's gained 0.1 watt. It's about 3.2. See what it's like on the other channels. Channel 40, 3, channel 1. Ooh, not 3. Right, just check that again. So we've got 3 there. 40, 3.1, 20. It's actually 3.1, 3.1, 3.2. But it doesn't matter which way you look at this, it's an interesting set. Where's my pen gone? There. Just check that low power still is 400 milliwatts. It is, well, it's actually 410. Not going to reset it for that. Let's look at our current consumption on full power. Wow, it's only 760 milliamps now. It's balanced. Just out of interest, I wonder if we had this in our Nissan Leaf, what power it would be doing at the 14.4 volts that the 12 volt rail is with the car switched on. Just adjust the power supply. Let's have a look. At 14.4 volts, the radio still does the 3.1 watts. It makes no difference. Start that again. And back to 13.8. Now I've done the deviation, so I think that's covered everything except the meter. So let's key it up. It bangs across to the centre of the red zone, which is, to be honest, you see, this meter is calibrated 246810. Well, it's a 4-watt radio running allegedly. We'll have it to the centre of the red zone, which is where I believe it should be. If you only had that meter moving to 4, people would think it wasn't doing any power. I wanted to move on to the final set of Allens today. So I'm kind of hurrying through this before doing anything else. Just see whether we can get rid of any of this paint. Let's knock that off with my fingernail. I'd want to be careful with something like isopropyl alcohol because it might strip the, but it should be electroplated stuff on that. I'll have to go and get a cloth and see. Cleaning the bezel with isopropyl alcohol. T3, so that's transmitter. Good, we're done. So, bezels, now rid of paint. So it just wants somebody to give it a better, you know, when you're doing these, always take the speaker out. There's nothing worse than sprayed over speakers. So there's no notes with any of these sets, but in this case it's just a matter of not being able to set up the transmit power properly. They're not difficult, sorry, they're not easy to tune because they're unusual, but the circuits are out there. See whether that speaker works. It sounds like it does. And that's even got brush marks. It's even got hairs from the brush in it. That one's sanding down. So while I put the screws in, we'll put the aerial in. I won't turn the test gear off because we're going to do 77805 straight after this, which is the final one from Alan, and then we can take them back to the intermediary probably on Friday. No church services till next Sunday, so got a week, and then I was going to say all hell breaks loose, but it isn't like that, is it? added another service onto me yesterday. I've gone from 27 to 28. But I did do one yesterday. It certainly looks better for not being covered in paint splatter. We'll put. Huh? Sounded foreign. One Nana Roger. And how many sets do you get? 2 ceramic filters in? 19 Roger. Well, there we go. So that will find its way onto eBay when we've done the test. And it's all nicely set up. It's just the case could do with the spray. We're probably going to do something with this power lead as well. So there we are. Thanks for watching. We'll do an on-the-air test for that. I was going to say Sun 401 because it's Domico Convoy one from 1981. You don't see many of those.